Hi there. Welcome. Ooh, I'm off kilter. Yeah, they told me, my instructor told me that in Pilates too, that I was off balance today. Go figure. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Let me know if my sound is okay. We just were checking and a sound issue was acting weird. So let me know if my sound is okay before I bring Gina in. I don't want to have a problem. Hi. Yes, I'm glad you're here. I needed this today too. Gina is a calming force in my life, and I appreciate that. Hello, I'm glad you're all here. Let me know if it sounds okay. I am here with Gina today. We have been doing this tag team techniques. It sounds okay. It sounds good? Okay, good. Okay, we've been doing these tag team techniques, but today we thought we would answer some questions and make a card at the same time. We thought that would be fun, something different. So let's bring her in, because that's who everybody's here to see. Can you bring her in, Mike? Because I don't know how to.
You don't know how to, you know exactly how
I have no idea. There she is.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Yay! Do I still sound crackly, Gina?
It's almost impossible for me to hear you, Jennifer. So
Oh, no.
it's just, yeah, it sounds very, very like staticky and echoey on my end. I'm really glad that it's not like that for everyone else, but it almost sounds like there's a feedback loop because it's echoey as well. But anyway, I am excited to be here. We are going to have so much fun today, and we are glad that everybody's here. Hopefully you can hear both of us okay. And one thing that we might want to do, Jennifer, maybe while you tell people what we're going to do, we'll go out and we'll come back into the live and see if that solves the problem on our end.
Okay. And
right.
before you go, well, no, go ahead. That's fine. You want to go ahead and do that now? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys got to listen to me a little bit longer while Gina goes and checks. She'll be right back. I promise we'll bring Gina back. Okay, so while she does that, she can't hear me. We will up Gina's sound here in a moment. We'll do that, I promise. Hey, Mike, they left. They're going to leave and then come back, and because Gina couldn't hear me right, but we got to pump up Gina's sound. Okay, they'll come back. Can you scroll it? So what we're going to do today is Gina had posted in her Facebook group that we were going to do this, and she asked if there were any questions that you all wanted answers to, and I grabbed some of those questions, but we also will answer as many questions as we can from the comments. How does it sound now?
It's perfect. You sound just as beautiful as ever.
Oh, gosh. No.
It's, it's always something. It's always a little something, right? Just a little something.
Yep. No, they want Gina's sound higher. Can you do that?
I'm turned up all the way here.
Turned up all the way. Can you turn me down?
Well,
We're
I'll
adjusting
add a
sound, sorry.
volume on my end and see if that works too.
Okay.
So
There
I
you
can, and I can project if I have to. I can project.
You're gonna start yelling? You're gonna start yelling at us?
Yelling. Yeah, definitely. Oh, well,
I'm so glad you're here.
Me too. I am so excited to be here with you. So did you tell them what we're going to do today?
Yes, I said that you had posted some questions or asked for questions in your Facebook group. I grabbed those questions, but I also think we can try to answer some questions in the comments. If you have a question for both of us, the idea was kind of like a tag team Q&A. So like you could ask a question, I would answer, and then Gina would answer, or vice versa. So if you have a question for both of us, please put questions in capital letters, and Mike will try to grab them all, and we'll answer as many as we can. So we'll do our best.
Yeah.
And if we don't know if if this is fun, we'll do it again, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And there was a bunch of questions that came in through private message to me and to on Facebook, also on Instagram, and a couple of emails we got through customer service. So there are a lot. And I don't know if Jennifer said this while I was gone, but we'll do as many as we can. But if we miss your question, we're really sorry. We don't want to not do them all, but we could be here till 10 o'clock tonight if we try to do them all. But like Jennifer said, we'll do it again if people like it, for sure. Yeah.
I was just reminding Mike to capture the questions for us. He
good.
highlights them for me so we can come back to it. There's a couple of great questions already. Yay.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, so, but we also want to be able to make something, right?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
we're going to try to do both.
Yeah, think of this more like we're all together. Maybe you're in your craft room right now and you
Yep.
can make something too. So Jennifer and I thought that we would make something using one of the new products from our new release, which is this Dazzling Sunflower 3D embossing folder bundle. And this bundle has an embossing folder. It's got a layered stencil set, and it's got 2 dies in there too. So we thought that we would use that today, and Jennifer's going to do one kind of card, like a technique that is, it's beautiful, and I think she's going to probably stop answering questions when she explains a little bit of her technique.
Yeah.
And then I thought that I would do more of a monochromatic look so that you can see this bundle being used in more than one way. So,
Wonderful.
sound good? Okay.
I think that's great. I think this is a beautiful bundle, and I didn't get it for the release, and I texted her and I'm like, ooh, I really like that sunflower bundle. I would have used it. And so she sent it to me so we could use it today, and that worked out well.
Yeah, I'm so glad you got it in time. We overnighted it the fastest way we could.
Yes, it showed up, and it was like I opened my door and it was like the heavens opened and angels started singing, and there it was.
And you're like, great, because I go live in 20 minutes, so I'm glad it's here.
No, I got it yesterday.
Okay.
We're good. We're good. We're good.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so should we just switch to overhead and just start making things and answer questions
Sure.
as we go?
Yeah, definitely.
The first step of mine is the technique. So if you want to, can you turn me down just a notch again? If you want to, I can just explain the technique of mine, and then we're smooth sailing. Did you have any technique aspects you needed to share, or is yours just kind of like a watch and go?
Mine is just a watch and go. I'm going to be doing a technique that I did just maybe 2 weeks ago on my YouTube channel, which was I did a grayscale card, and then I came back and did like a sepia type of card, and I thought that this sunflower would be so gorgeous in sepia tone, just all the browns for fall. So I'm going to do that. If you want to learn more about that technique, you can always watch that video on my channel, but it's pretty self-explanatory if you're watching it.
You can also just ask, stop us from talking and explain what you're doing. This is informal
Sure.
here. You're allowed to do that.
Definitely. Definitely.
The reason I wanted to show this technique today is when I was experimenting with a bunch of 3D embossing folders, I discovered that your Intri-Cut is the best for the technique that I'm about to show. So that's why I wanted to be able to show it today, because it really is a step above in getting it just right. So that's why I wanted to show it today.
That's great. Well, that's great to hear. Yeah, I definitely want to see what you're going to do. I'm excited.
And Brianne Loveland is here, and she's already linking in the chat. She just put a link to your monochromatic video, so if people want to check that out too. So thank you, Brianne. Yeah. We don't know what we would do without you.
I do want you to know that our Intri-Cut machines are on the water. I know that a lot of people have been waiting for those to come back in stock. So, if you want to do this technique, I'm sure there's ways to do it with other die cutting machines. You just might have to like re-ink it a bunch of times. Oh yeah. But for those of you that love this technique and have been waiting for that machine, it is coming back in stock. We promise. It's floating somewhere.
I will explain what to do if you don't have this machine, but sorry, I had to get a refill for my tape runner. But I will also explain why this makes it really easy to do it. So, you can try what you have too. All right, so let me switch to overhead. So we're using, as Gina mentioned, her 3D embossing folder. It's the Dazzling Sunflower. It was new in her release on Tuesday night. And on the packaging, it tells you how to use this folder with the Intri-Cut. The instructions are right there. But keep in mind, it works with other machines also. You definitely can use it with other machines. But I'm going to show you why I think, I should have done that, why I think the Intri-Cut is really good for it. Because I'm going to do a technique where I ink the inside of the folder and transfer the ink, and her machine's great for it. Now I noticed on her packaging, Gina, this is the sandwich you do here?
That's a good starting point, but if it's a little bit too tight, you can always back off of that. Or if it's
Okay.
not tight enough, every embossing folder is going to feel a little bit different depending on how much of the design needs to be embossed. So
Right.
that's one of those things. That's what's great about the Intri-Cut is you can make those little
Yep.
adjustments.
So
I'm
hers-
watching.
Okay. So hers said you turn your dial for this folder, you'd go to the 2D embossing folder setting, and then it says set the tension to 3, which is right here. I go between 2 and 3, but it's really up to you. Now here's the thing, it's always better to go with less pressure first and then build it up. You don't want to go with too much pressure and like cause your embossing folder to warp. So that's just a little tip. Hi, Andy. Now, the other thing it says on the packaging is when you use this embossing folder, you don't use a top plate. So I have my platform with the magnetic plate on it, and then we'll put the embossing folder on it, run it through without a top plate. So let me just show you just done normally. So I'm going to put a little, what I'm doing for my technique is I'm putting a little bit of tape runner on the back of my cardstock. So I just did a little bit on the back. Then I'm going to mist a little bit with water on the front. So maybe 2 or 3 sprays. That just keeps, I'm using a heavyweight cardstock and I don't want any kind of like rough edges, and it makes a deeper impression. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. Now I'm putting that into my embossing folder so that the adhesive side is on the raised area. So this is the raised flower. Let me move the stencils. The raised flowers here, and I'm putting the adhesive side on that. The reason I'm putting a little bit of adhesive on the back of that is I want it to stay in the folder when I open it back up again. So now I'll put it on here and I'll feed it through. And do you do this? Do you go back and forth a little bit?
I do. Sometimes I
dance?
flip around completely too.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yep.
I call it a little cha-cha where you go back and forth. I don't know why. I don't know that you have to do it, but why not? So I'm going to run that through, and this is just what it looks like when you run it through normal. Look how beautiful that is. Look at that detail.
That looks great.
Can you see that? You can hear it, the detail in the center of the sunflowers. Beautiful. Now, here's my technique, and then we can go back to Gina, have Gina create too. I want the background of this panel to be bold. I'm going with bold color. I think Gina's going with more like a softer look. I'm going with bold today. So you're going to get 2 very different things. I want this background to be really dark. You could do black ink, you could do navy ink, you could do a soft ink if you want, any color you want, but I'm going to end up with all color in the background. So I'm taking dark lilac, which is one of my favorite colors from Gina. And on the other side, this is still stuck in here. On the other side of the embossing folder, which is where the flower is pressed down, but are you saving questions, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay, but the background is raised up. I'm going to rub ink on that. So you can see how the background is grabbing the ink. So I am putting dark lilac. I like to kind of smear it around and then dab it. Okay, and you'll see that it really doesn't want to take ink really well. It gets kind of splotchy because it's not meant to, right? That's okay, doesn't matter. And now with the same settings, I'll just close that and run it through again. So what's happening is it's going to push that dark color into the background, but you could do soft if you prefer. It's completely up to you. But I think it's dynamic. It looks really cool when you have like a bold background and light colors over it. So that's what we have so far. Now, I want that to be more solid. See how it's not completely? Because an embossing folder isn't really meant to transfer ink like a stamp. So I'm just going to repeat the process. So I'm going to ink that up again and do it one more time. Now, the reason, I promise I'll stop talking so Gina can talk soon, but the reason this is fantastic for the Intri-Cut is I can adjust the pressure to be just right to transfer all of that ink. So with some machines, I found that I didn't get even pressure. So there would be like a gap where like this solid background here didn't transfer much. And so I would have to use shims or like use a thin shim underneath it to get it to transfer an area. But I found with the Intri-Cut, even with all this solid background, it transfers beautifully. Look how solid that is. And you could just...
That's unbelievable.
Isn't that great? Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah. So you could, if you wanted to, put a sentiment on this. Now remember, Gina's inks, Gina loves us and wants us to be happy. So her inks are very, will like dry and smooth out. So this will become even more solid as it dries. But look at how beautiful that is. You can do it with a light color by all means. You don't have to do bold. And then to clean your embossing folder, I just use a little bit of rubbing alcohol and wipe it clean. So then I can now use the coordinating stencils on this to add color to the flowers, which I'll do while we answer questions.
Wow,
so
that's amazing. So tell us again, Jennifer, because I have never used the magnetic platform. So I don't know what you just did. No, I always use just the white platform. And I've always told people to use the white platform. So tell me what you did. You used the metal platform and the magnetic mat together?
Yeah.
I gotta try that. So that's probably the same. I'm trying it right now. And then you have it set to 3.
I have it
2D.
like, yeah, I did. It's a little bit less than 3. So it's like 2.5 kind of.
Okay.
And it worked.
Okay. All right.
I got purple ink all over me.
Of course you did.
Someone asked what size cardstock I started with. I started with 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and that's what it's designed to fit.
All right. I'm going to try this. Let's see. I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to do this Jennifer pasta making thing that she's got going here. Now, I'm using lighter weight cardstock than you, though, Jennifer. I'm using the 80 pounds, so we'll see if I get the same kind of impression. And I think this will be a good test to see. I love this idea, though. This is great. Let's see. All right. So Jennifer put the ink. Somebody's asking what side did you put the ink on, Jennifer?
Okay, so the side, when you open up the embossing folder, there is a side where the flowers are raised up, and there's a side where the flowers are like indented down. I put the ink on the side where the flowers are indented down. So what happens is the ink goes on the background because that's what's raised.
Oh, that's beautiful. That impression is fantastic. Yeah.
Good.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and I used just a little bit of water. And I know, did you use alcohol or water?
Water.
Okay. Some people have been using alcohol, which has worked too, because it dries so quickly.
Yep.
So
you could. A lot of times I forget to use the water, so I don't really think it's that critical. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. When I made my samples for the release party the other night, I totally forgot to use water, and it was fine. It worked fine. But you know, some people find that it cracks a little less if you use water. So I guess it's worth it.
I think it depends on a lot of things. It depends on the machine you're using, the folder you're using, and the cardstock you're using. So sometimes you gotta experiment.
Right. All right, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. So there we go.
One of my favorite things to do, I should probably have kept that out. One of my favorite things to do when I get a new folder is to try it, to test it. Do I need water? Do I need whatever? And then you can write it with a Sharpie on the outside of the embossing folder, and then you'll remember, like mist with water, and then what sandwich or setting worked best with that folder. I think a lot of times that's really helpful.
Yep. And if you use a lot of alcohol spray on your folders, you can also put that information on a label with a label maker.
Yep. Let's see.
All right. Okay. Well, that was very cool. That was very enlightening, Jennifer. Thank you for showing us that using the magnetic plate. That's great.
I didn't. Okay. I don't only use the magnetic plate, so that's
so funny. It's so funny. Well, I am going to use we're so funny, Jennifer. We're like, we're not going to talk about what we're doing. We're just going to do it. And then here we are because we just, the eternal
because we keep talking.
Right?
Yep. Do we want to answer some questions? Oh,
Yes.
wait, no. Tell us what you got going on.
Well, I'm just going to tell them I'm going to do a sepia tone thing. So I'm going to use craft ink, warm cocoa, and dark chocolate. So that's going to be my color palette for mine. All right. Yep.
Those are all good colors.
I think they are. Yeah. All right. So I am ready for any question.
Okay. Let me, Mike, can you put, I've got some questions saved, but let me start with those. What has been the biggest game changer in the last 10 years when it comes to card making?
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, I bet you and I have the same answer.
What's your answer?
The MISTI.
Yeah. Was that 10 years? We lived that long without it?
Yeah.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
if you think about all the things that you can do with the MISTI, you know, the different grip mats that have come out, and just the whole idea, the wreath builder, the idea that, you know, you can re-stamp things for people that even just have weaker hands and it's hard to hold an acrylic block. I think, you know, the one thing for me has been the MISTI, but also after the MISTI, something very, very new. I think that the grip mat concept has been a game changer too. Because the MISTI was great, but the magnets, they weren't. They to me, the magnet doesn't work quite as well as a grip mat.
Oh, I agree. I agree with those. I also think blending brushes.
Ah, yes.
I think if we didn't have the blending brushes that we have now, the layering stencils that we all love so much, or the cut, like where you can color in an image, wouldn't have been as fantastic. I think blending brushes, who would have ever thought that these kind of things would work for crafting? I mean, I never thought about it. And I think it makes a big difference. But yeah, of course. I agree. The MISTI.
Yep,
I'm using your grip mat. Are you using your grip? What are you using?
I'm using the sticky mat right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm using the sticky mat.
I like your grip mat because the other side is 2 background stamps. You have 2 of them, right?
We have 2 so far, yeah.
So this has one pattern and this has one pattern. So you can stamp with the back of it and get 2 different patterns. Then the other side is flat, and that's what I'm using as a grip mat here. And it fits in your MISTI, which is also great.
Yeah, it's super fun.
What color are you using there?
I'm using craft.
Okay.
Just craft ink. What are you using? Ooh, the orchids.
I did light orchid, and I did it really light. I used a smaller brush so that I could, these are your smaller brushes, so I could get a really light, and I'm going to come in and put just a little bit of medium orchid around the bottom of the petals.
Yes. So I'm doing craft, and I'm going to do the same technique, but I'm going to use warm cocoa for around the bottom of the petals.
Oh, I love how different ours will look.
Yeah, definitely.
Mine is not a traditional sunflower look, but you know.
I love what you're going to do, though. I love what you're going to do. I think that's going to be great.
All right. Oh, so let's see. What are your current favorite techniques and tools?
Well, I think we just almost answered some of that, because definitely the blending brushes and the layering stencils are... Layering stencils, coloring stencils, and blending brushes are definitely right now so hot, and every month they're like almost the favorite products for me to work with. But I do like these 3D embossing folders too. These are super fun.
Those were the 2 things I would say. I really like the 3D embossing folders and the techniques that you can do with them. I did a video on Tuesday, on your release day, using the 3D embossing folder that was in your kit with the coordinating stencils.
That was
and
such a good
dies.
video, Jennifer.
Well, it's just, no, but it just shows you that you can get so many different looks from an embossing folder. And you can create a card with texture, but without the bulk, so you can mail it easily, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm really liking embossing folders, coloring stencils, because this girl does not like to color. I do not enjoy coloring. I know that's like a sin to say in this craft world, but I don't enjoy coloring.
Jennifer, I don't know that it is anymore, though. I see that sentiment from so many people. That's almost the first question. Is there going to be coloring stencils for that? Because it does make us look more, you know, not everybody's a Christina Warner, right?
Oh, yeah, for real.
Yeah.
For real.
Not everybody's like Christina, which she's so amazing at coloring, you know, but not everybody has that skill. I don't. I mean, I definitely need the little bump of help that comes from a layering stencil or a coloring stencil. Definitely.
I agree. And another thing that I'm loving lately is coordinating dies for my sentiments. I love it.
Oh.
And I love that you've been doing that so much.
Yeah, remember when we didn't used to do that? It was kind of a thing with all the companies. We did all the images, but we didn't do the sentiments. And then all of a sudden we started doing the sentiments, and people have really enjoyed that as well. Ooh, I love this so far. I'm having fun.
Look at that. Oh, that's pretty. Betsy says she can color, but doesn't want to. I can't, and I don't want to.
Well, Betsy is an artist. She
is.
I mean, like, isn't that like her career, like graphic art and stuff? She's
graphic design, yeah.
Yep. She's a true artist. I am a crafter.
I am too.
Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay.
Hey, you know, we need all of us, right?
We do.
So I did over the second stencil, these are kind of like the back leaves or petals. I did medium orchid and then dark orchid. And I'm actually coming in with your plum punch and doing that just right at the center, which is like much darker, to give that little depth right at that center point.
Oh, that's beautiful. I always forget that plum punch will take that same orchid even another level. That looks gorgeous. Yes, look at that. That's beautiful.
I'm gonna have like a 70s card with all these funky colors. Oh, who cares? It's all good. Okay, let's see, another question. How long have we been crafting?
Oh, my gosh. Well, let's see. The dinosaurs were around. Me and my Triceratops used to go out for a walk. I've been crafting for a really long time. I would have to say that I've been crafting for, like, card making for probably 30 years, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe not 30. Maybe not 30. Let me think. How old is Rena? Probably like maybe 27 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say I probably started when I was like I started scrapbooking probably 25 years ago, and then probably switched over to card making like at 20 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. It's a long time. It's a long time.
And since then, I've had no life. I just make cards all the time.
Well, you know, once you have no life, there's nothing to scrapbook anymore. So you could just move right into card making.
You know, card making has always been less pressure for me, I feel.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, when you're using your photos, you feel like you got to get it just right. Mm-hmm. And card making, it's smaller, and no matter what I make, I feel like the recipient's going to be thankful. So I don't know, it just feels like less pressure.
For sure. And you know, for those scrapbookers out there that have been considering card making, really card making are just tiny layouts. And your focal image replaces your picture. So, your greeting is your journaling block. And then you get to do all the embellishments like the little ephemera and all the other things. So they're really so similar. It's just, I agree, scrapbooking, for me to do a scrapbooking page, it takes me a long time. There is a lot of thought in there. And for a card, I can make a card and feel accomplished in a day. It used to take me days to do a scrapbook page.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And then I'm not good at, another thing, I'm not great with words and writing and grammar and all that. I was a math girl. So the nice thing with scrapbooking, I would journal and there would always be a mistake. So
that's so frustrating.
I am just using the sentiments that a company made, and I know they're okay then.
Yeah, most of the time, right?
Most of the time. There's those exceptions.
Yeah.
Let's see. For Gina's new frame stamp set, does it fit an A2 card? Somebody asked that?
Gina's new frame?
I think it's the frame. I think it's frame.
Frame. Oh, the frame. Oh, does it fit an A2 card? Yes, it does. It fits an A2 card beautifully. And in the die set, there is, that there's the frame that cuts out all the little bits and pieces on the inside too. But yes, it will fit an A2 card. Yes, it will.
Nice.
Jennifer, look at the browns.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that fun?
Oh, sorry, my head gets in the way. Oh, I love that. That's excellent for fall.
For fall, right? Yeah.
So I did my stenciling. I just want to tell the colors in case anybody wants to know. For the center, I did sweet corn, which is one of my favorite yellows because it's not a vibrant yellow. So I just feel like it was a nice balance with the bright colors around it. So I did sweet corn, and then I did kind of around the edges with warm cocoa. And then for the leaves, I did key lime, and then I came in with Christmas pine. There's a big jump between those, but by using the small brush, I was able to get that blend.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So
that's beautiful. There are, I feel like, I know that these are sunflowers, but those cone flowers that are that orchid color, they're so autumny that you can just mix and match. I think it looks beautiful. It's gorgeous.
That's what inspired me. I have a bunch of cone flowers that in daisies and things like that were from my grandma's garden that we transplanted here at the house, and there are some in that color. And so this is really a sunflower, but I think it can work for anything. And the other thing is, this is our creative freedom. We don't have to do perfectly realistic things, right?
No, we don't. We definitely don't. We could make these, we could make them turquoise and purple if we want. Anything we want.
Question for you, Gina, from me. Do you prefer to do the embossing folder and then stencil, or stencil and then the embossing folder? Because people always ask, what do you prefer to do?
So I really like to do the embossing folder first because I like the way the stencil kind of rests over the bumps and everything. I like how the ink catches the bumps. So I prefer doing it that way. But I have done techniques where some of our one of our 3D embossing folders, the very first one that we released, the ruffled flowers, has a Poly-glaze set that coordinates with it. And with the Poly-glaze, I actually like to color that in first and then go ahead and emboss. And it just has, it looks great. So it's really, it's really up to you which way you want to do it. I would say try it both ways and see which look you like better. But yeah, I do it the same way you do. What we're doing right now is what I tend to do.
I agree. And I did it before in the video, so you can rewind, but if you want to use the coordinating dies, I don't know about you, Gina, but I like to die cut my cardstock, then put the die cut in the embossing folder and run it through, and then use the stencils. That's what I prefer to do.
Me too.
I feel like it gives the best results.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Another question. Let's see. How does the rise in the price of steel and aluminum touch your company? I live in Iceland and it seems a bit steep to buy from the US.
That's a really great question. A lot of people are asking that because they're not really sure how it works. So what was happening before is we were only being charged on steel and aluminum. We were only being charged 50% tariff on steel and aluminum if it was coming in raw. So a manufacturer, like a car manufacturer that might buy raw steel so that they can mold parts for a car here or make steel parts for a car here, they were being charged 50% on the steel, where craft companies were only being charged 30%. I say only like that's nothing, but it's definitely different than 50. We were only being charged 30% on the steel because the steel that we were bringing in was products that were already manufactured. So they were finished items that we were bringing in versus the raw materials. So I had mentioned this in another video. You'd be surprised how many things contain aluminum. Let me just show you a couple things on my craft table here that contain aluminum. Sequins contain aluminum.
Things
Blending
you don't
brushes.
think of.
The little rim here of the blending brush, that's aluminum. And different things that contain steel. Scissors, die cutting machines, the fuse foiling machine, all your cutting dies. Certain things like tweezers and just, almost everything that is a tool. The pick and stick tool has the steel tip on the end here. So all of those things used to be tariffed at 30%. Now they're being tariffed at 50%. And so the reason why it affects the companies is because we're the ones that pay the tariff. There's a misconception that the other countries pay the tariff. So if I bring something in from China, that China pays the tariff. They don't. When I bring something in from China, I pay the tariff. Well, that means that it costs so much more for that product, and that's why the prices in the US on certain things have or will go up. So I know it's hard to understand from other countries because, like, maybe in Iceland, they buy things from China and they're not kind of in a tariff war with China. So yeah, that's how it's affecting us. But that's a good question because I'm sure a lot of people don't understand how it works. What do you think of this, Jennifer? Look at the centers.
So tell us what color? Some folks were asking.
Okay, so for my first leaves, I did craft with a little warm cocoa. Okay. For the second set of petals, I said leaves, but petals, I did warm cocoa with a little dark chocolate. And then for the center here, I did warm cocoa, and then I did dark chocolate around the perimeter.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you can really change the mood of your card just by changing the colors.
Absolutely. Because look at yours. I mean, your design there, when I look at that, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like beautiful pottery, like ceramic or something.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like a vase with that on it would be absolutely stunning. And mine feels very organic, it feels like maybe at the end of the fall when everything is starting to dry out. I'm dried out, Jennifer.
That's okay. I'm unstable, so if people could see the memes that you and I send each other, they're usually about being old or unstable.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's where you usually, that seems fitting.
It's so true. It's so true, though.
All right, let's see here. Hold on. What season do you like the most to create each year? Really, the person was asking you, like, what kits you like to put together, like what season kits you like to put together, but we can expand that into, like, what kind of cards also.
Sure, yeah. Well, what kind of cards do you like, Jennifer?
I honestly, I don't do a whole lot of holiday cards besides Christmassy time. Like I don't do Halloween cards much. I mean, it's rare when I do a Halloween card. I don't really do Easter cards. The occasion that I make the most is thank you. I make mostly thank you cards. What about you?
Well, I think that I tend to make a ton of thinking of you cards.
Yeah, that's
That
good.
seems to be one that I make a lot. The kits that I enjoy putting together the most are the, oh gosh, well, you know I'm a flower girl, so I love
Yeah.
that feeling after Christmas is over when, you know, Christmas goes on for a long time in the card making world because we need to get our products out quickly, right? For everybody, because people need time, number one, to make projects when they sell things at craft fairs. They need time to make their Christmas cards, and a lot of people send, you know, 50, 100 Christmas cards, so they need
Right.
time. So we always do that in September. And it really doesn't feel good to make anything other than Christmas cards almost up until mid-December.
Yeah.
So there's so much joy to me in busting out those flowers and hearts in January. That might be my favorite time of the year, like January, February, to actually launch products, because it feels like, all right, we've gotten all of our winter zoomies out of us, and now
Yep.
it's time for something bright and fun again.
Yes.
So
I can see that. I have a question for you. So this question's for me. One of the things I always say this when I use your kits in my videos, I always say one of the things I love about yours is that it's not like a kit where everything is kind of the same.
Yep, right.
You will put different things in it so that you can use this to get this look, this to get a different look, or combine them for another look. How do you decide what goes together in a kit?
So I usually pick a theme. Like, for example, obviously this one was easy because it was called Autumn Delight. So everything was autumn themed. But, you know, I like to, when I do a kit, I like to think about techniques. And I think maybe, Jennifer, that might be why you like the kits, because you are a technique person. You love to teach techniques.
Yep.
And so I always think about, is my kit versatile enough that it can do tons of techniques, which is why in this kit we've got a 3D embossing folder, we've got layering stencils, we've got silhouette stamps, we have stamps that you can color in, because that just creates that unending amount of techniques that you can do. Like the smaller flowery, pumpkin-y, apple-y set that's in the kit is great for those postage cards, which is a whole variety of techniques, right? But then you've got the 3D embossing folders, which, I mean, look at today, we're learning something brand new with Jennifer. There's always a technique to learn. And then silhouette stamping, that's great for those ink blended backgrounds and scene making. So for me, the big trick, the thing that makes me happy about a kit is how many different kinds of things can you do with this kit?
Gotcha.
Technique wise. Yeah.
Maybe that's why I like it your kits so much, because I tend to approach my cards that way with technique. So that makes sense.
You love doing techniques. I mean, you are the technique goat. And so, you know, having a kit that you can say, I could just do just about any technique with this kit. What do I want? What do I feel like working on today? That's just such a nice, nice option.
Well, and you want to be able to get a lot of different looks out of something, because you don't want to spend, you know, money on a kit. Those cost more because there's more in it, right? You don't want all your cards to end up looking the same. So to have that variety, I think is, and your team does so many ideas that it's easy to get inspiration for them. Some folks asked about what I did. With this one, I did black. This is black amalgam ink from Gina.
Wow.
I thought it'd be fun to have black in the background. And then I did, for my flower, I did light carnation, medium carnation, dark carnation, and then I came in with a little bit of cherry red. But you could really do that with just a couple ink pads. For the leaves, I did key lime and lucky clover. Lucky clover is one of my all-time favorite leaves. Colors. See, it's a nice Kelly green. It's like the perfect Kelly green, you know? And then, so key lime and lucky clover.
Yeah, that key lime really makes it glow.
Yeah.
It really makes, and I can't believe how dark and solid you're getting that background. That is really, really impressive.
I'm telling you, it's because of the Intri-Cut. The Intri-Cut really gives you the flexibility because you can adjust it. And also it seems to give really even pressure. Now, if you don't have the Intri-Cut and you want to try this, you might have to experiment around with like doing an extra shim. And you can just use a piece of cardstock as a shim and just experiment until you get good transfer. Oh, look at yours.
So I used warm cocoa and dark chocolate in here just to enhance it a little bit. But remember, I'm keeping it monochromatic. So
yeah.
I didn't want to go with a green or anything. I just wanted to keep all of that very monochromatic. So I'm going to pick a greeting for mine. I can't believe you're on your second card already. I'm still...
Well, I'm skipping the greetings for now. I can come back to those. The one thing that I'm thinking of with yours is, wouldn't it be a nice holiday gift if you did a set of cards, maybe like 6 cards in different color monochromatic?
Oh, yeah. Gray and then greens and blues. And yeah, that would be fantastic. That'd be a great gift. That
so
really
if you
would
did
be a great gift.
When you use your supplies as to make a gift, it really eliminates the cost, right? Because you're not having to buy a gift, right? See?
Right. Yeah.
So you can enable yourself.
And you know what else? I was going to make some boxes of cards as gifts this year. And you know what I thought I would do? I thought I would cut, you know, maybe 10 different greetings, birthdays, thank yous, get well, sympathy, all of those things. And then put foam squares on the backs, but not peel them off, and just put them in a little bag. So this way, somebody could take a card like this out and they could say, I need a birthday card. No, I need a sympathy card. And they could pick the greeting, peel off the foam squares and pop it on there. And that really makes those kinds of gifts even more versatile. Because you might be a person that never sends a get well card, but you might be somebody that only sends birthday cards. So having, you know, a few extra birthday greetings in there, you could send those cards for exactly what you want.
Yep.
All right.
A little bit of like tape that they can peel off on the back, or foam tape would be great. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Mike, she's putting her famous black mat on there. Can you?
I'm putting brown today, Jennifer.
Oh, brown. Okay.
I am going outside of the box here. Here's my black one that I cut out earlier. I'm like, no, it's got to be brown if I'm going to go monochromatic.
Let's see. I'm looking at. So somebody asked about the container I keep my Gina K brushes in. I have it linked below. Cool. I don't know. It's probably a makeup container because I don't know what it is, and I don't do the whole makeup thing. So that's my guess. I need my daughter here. She's into skincare, and I'm not. I don't know. I have it linked below, but it holds 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 24 brushes. And it's like a perfect fit. It's great.
That is great.
Gina, do you have, Donna asked, do you have a stamp collab coming out with Simon Says Stamp for Stamptember?
Well, I'm not supposed to say anything, but
oh, okay.
But let me come in real close. Yes.
Okay, there you go. Don't tell anybody.
Yes, I do. Don't tell anybody, though.
Don't tell anybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. Stamptember is the happiest time of the year, and I am very excited with our collab. So that's coming up, but I can't tell you when. That's kind of the secret surprise part. Nobody ever knows what day, what's coming, right?
No, but I am doing a video with it, so
awesome.
I'm sure you will. Well, she can't tell us anymore, but in the past she's gone live with it, so maybe she will again. Stamptember always has surprises and changes and good things, so it'll be exciting.
Definitely. Gosh, it's right around the corner too. I can't believe it.
Somebody asked, does your Intri-Cut die cut machine work with the Glimmer machine and the Better Press? And I don't know that Gina's, have you tested that? Because I've done
Jennifer,
it. If you have.
I'm going to leave that up to you because
Okay.
I don't use those because I have the fuse system.
Right.
So, yeah, I would have to leave that up to you, but I know you did a fantastic video.
When Gina's Intri-Cut came out, I did a video all about it, and in that video, I tell you what dial settings to use, and yes, you can use the Better Press and the Glimmer with it. So if you have those, you can use it with the Intri-Cut. I don't know if Brianne's still here. She could put a link to that video. Brianne, it was my first Intri-Cut video. I think I said I don't know, something about that. She'll probably be able to find it. She's good at that.
She'll find it. She already found it.
Yeah.
It's probably, before you even answered, it was probably already in the chat.
Ooh, Betsy has a question that's a good one. Oh, look at those colors. These are the light, medium, and dark lilac.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I did the dark on the front petals and the light on the back, whatever. Good enough. Betsy wants to know, will Gina ever participate in an OCC class?
Well,
Online card classes.
You know, I know somebody over there. I could try to get in, see if I can get in somehow.
She has contributed to classes in the past.
Oh yes,
but
many.
Let's just say we're working on things, right?
Yes.
2026, we have lots of fun things planned, right?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Let's see. Yes.
So I want to tell people one thing real quick.
Please
here.
do.
Okay, I am making an A6 card. So I used, because see, this is, I mean, here is an A2, here's an A2 card, right? So this is the whole A2 card.
Okay.
I am making an A6 card, and half of this, you can see how much bigger that's going to be. I used our Master Layout 17 die set, which is designed for A6 cards.
Okay.
And so the size of my card base here is 9 inches across by 6 1/4, and then I'm going to score that at 4.5 inches. So just in case anybody was wondering what size my card was, I feel like A6 is such a great size card for these embossing folders because you get you get a lot of the image in there when you do either the A6 or the 5x7, either one.
Because the embossing folder does an A2 panel, but if you want to make it smaller so some of your card shows, you don't want to cut too much of it off. So that's why she's going with bigger. Is that right?
That's correct.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah.
So I have not added sentiments yet, but I made 3 things here. So this is
my gosh,
the technique with dark lilac in the background. This is with black in the background, and this is just showing how you can die cut embossing folder and then stencil with that. There's also a die that cuts a circle, so if you want to pop the circle up, you can do that too, but I didn't do that. All right, let's see. Yeah, A6 is a great size.
See, and that's an A6 with the border from Master Layouts 17. You get that nice wide border in there, and you can cut that nice little shadow layer that's in brown. I know, somebody take my temperature. Jennifer, I wanted to show them this too. Jennifer just said you could cut it out. See how like I cut that out and it's popped up there? So that doesn't look as pretty as yours, but it is definitely popped up. So if you wanted to have even this one popped up just to have a little accent piece, you could just do a second one and pop it up on there.
So that individual flower you just showed, what colors did you use on that? Yeah.
I used Plum Punch and a little bit of, I want to say a little bit of warm cocoa at the base, just to deepen it up. Here's another one that I did with yellows, so more traditional colors. I did butterscotch and sweet mango, and then I did honey mustard and a little warm cocoa. And then, you know, Jennifer was using key lime and lucky clover, so her petals are very vibrant. Mine are a little more muted because I use jelly bean green
Jelly
and
bean.
fresh asparagus in here.
Yep.
So those are a little bit more olivey colors, not that true Kelly green kind of thing.
There you
But
go.
yeah, so
Awesome. Elaine said, lots of drama with these cards. Wonderful. I agree. We're kind of going dramatic with these.
yeah,
Something
we
different.
are for sure. We are.
I think sometimes we get caught up in doing, you know, what would be expected. That sometimes it's fun to do something that's unexpected. Somebody asked earlier, what advice would you give a new stamper?
Oh, that's such a great question. So here's the advice that I would give a new stamper. Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
You go.
All right, I'll go. Okay, the advice that I would give a new stamper is you don't need everything to start
Amen.
card making. What you need is you need a good video to watch. So maybe a video by Jennifer. Pick a video by Jennifer that you would like.
Gina.
Maybe look at her channel and look at all of the thumbnails and see what kind of card is attractive to you. Watch that video and just get the supplies that she used for that video and exhaust them. Make 1,000,000 cards with them. Try every color combination that you can. You know, use your products to the max so that you're so sick of it that you never want to see another one of that flower or that greeting again. And then, you know, once you've done that and you know, okay, because here's the thing. People feel like they have to have every layering stencil, every coloring stamp, every coloring medium. I need colored pencils. I need Copic markers. I need ink blending brushes. I need ink pads. Pick a technique like layering stencils and just start with that. Collect 8 to 10 colors of ink and blending brushes, and then buy lots of different layering stencils. And so that's all you need to begin with. You know, you can still make lots of beautiful cards with lots of variety. And then after you've done that, then it's time to move to the next thing. Now I'll explore coloring with colored pencils. Maybe buy a couple of stamp sets there. But you don't need to have every single thing that everybody has in order to get started. Does that make sense?
I agree. Yes. And mine is, my advice to somebody who's new is start with high quality. I think a lot of us, when we want to start a hobby, we go and look for the value. But as we all know, with stamps, you need to have high quality stamps to get a good stamped image. So my recommendation is to get high quality products because you're going to have more success as a beginner with high quality products.
I agree with that. So much. Because you're going to think you're not good.
Yep. Yeah. The other thing that I think is a big thing is practicing a lot. I mean, that goes along with what she said. I always talk about how your first card when you're learning a new technique or something is kind of like your practice pancake. You know, when you make pancakes, the first one looks pretty pathetic, but then after that you're good. It's the same thing with card making. Just because you see Gina like kicking it with a great technique, she's been doing this for a while, right? So you got to give yourself a little grace and a little practice. I think those are big. And yeah, you don't need all the things. One thing that I do recommend to all beginner stampers, though, is a MISTI. I think it will save you a lot of grief.
Mm-hmm. And a grip mat. And a grip mat.
Yes. Yep. Those are big things. And if you're trying to get a friend into crafting, my recommendation are layering stencils. Like Gina's floral layering stencils, there is something so satisfying. I've taught a few new crafters with layering stencils. You get great results, and all you have to do is tape that stencil down, right? So that would be, to me, like if you want to get somebody new, try the layering stencils. That's just
that's a gateway drug.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
That'll
it really
suck them
is.
in. All right,
Yeah, for
Mike,
sure.
can you show? Okay. Question for Gina. Teresa asks, will there be any more embossing folders this year?
Yes, there will be. Definitely there will be.
Good to
Yep.
know.
Yep.
I will be using them because I
Yes, you
always
will.
do.
Yes, you will.
Will you still
Yep.
do your traditional bigger embossing folders? Like
Oh,
the non
the
3D?
2D, the 2D.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, we definitely will do some more 2D embossing
Okay, good.
folders. I think that they definitely have a great place in our industry. You get hooked on something, you get excited about it, and then
Yeah.
people want more and more. And so, we're kind of on a little bit of a 3D kick, but that does not negate the fantastic value and techniques and stuff that you can do. In fact, check out the video that Jennifer and I did on regular 2D embossing folders. We did a
Oh,
tag
yeah.
video,
We
and
did.
it's packed with techniques. That was so much fun to do.
That was a good one.
Yeah, yeah. So
All right, let's see.
Definitely.
Other questions. How does the industry seem to come out with similar themes around the same time when it takes time to create and receive items?
we all want to know that too, because
It's crazy.
I don't know if there's something in the air, or what, but it is so funny to me that 6 months ago we designed holiday products or autumn products, and so did 3 other companies, and we all came out with a similar theme. I honestly don't know how that works, other than to think that maybe there is some creative energy that just gets shot through the air and everybody gets inspired.
Maybe
Because
similar inspiration and the trends or something. I don't know.
maybe it's so funny though. I mean, I really, really try not to look at what other people are doing, just so that I don't copy somebody. In fact, there are even times where this happened over the weekend. Karen Hightower sent me a picture of one of the cards she made for the kit. And I just, the card was beautiful, but I'm like, don't show me anything else, because
Yeah.
I do not want to copy you and, inadvertently have that in my head and then, ruin your project. So it's kind of like, boy, I wish I knew the answer to that. What is the answer to that, Jennifer?
I don't know. It's crazy because I'll get a new stamp set from one company and a new stamp set from another company, and they come at my door within days of each other, and I'm like, huh, how'd that happen?
Right.
Similar inspiration. I don't know, trends out there.
Yep.
It's hard to say, but great minds think alike. That's one good way to look at it.
Yes,
Let's see,
I
Mike,
like
can you go
that.
back? Let's see. Go back to the questions. Sorry. Hang on, I'm looking for another one. Are all Gina K stamps the same thickness and height for stamping in a MISTI?
Yes. Yep.
Good.
All of our stamps are manufactured at the same manufacturing facility here in the United States, and they are all exactly the same height. So you can mix and match on the same, panel, and it'll be super easy.
Which
Yes.
is nice, because there are some stamps that aren't the same thickness, and I love when you can put multiple stamps from multiple sets in the MISTI at the same time and stamp them all at once. So
Yeah,
that
make a fun
is-
background.
Yep. All right, let's see. Explain. I will explain my greeting in a moment. Let's see. Do you have a recommended, you talked a little bit about this, but maybe it's good to talk about a bit more. Do you have a recommended thickness of or weight of cardstock for your embossing folders?
Oh, well, I tend to use 80-pound cardstock, but, Jennifer used, what did you use, Jennifer?
I always use 110.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, we use 2 different ones, and they both gave a great impression. So I tend to use 80-pound on just about everything that I make on camera. And the reason is because 80-pound cardstock folds and lays really flat.
Yeah.
And I'm not kind of dealing with the card popping open. So that's why I tend to use it in my demos. When I make cards for friends and family and stuff, I will use our 120-pound white cardstock for my card bases. But I do a lot of layering. And, you know,
Gotcha.
Jennifer, do you do a lot of layering, or do you do mostly single layer cards?
I do a lot of layering too, but I tend to have really, really thick cards, which, you know,
Is fine.
I feel like, okay, I totally get, sorry, my head's going to get in the way. Don't count my grays, Gina. I after spending this much time making cards, I'm okay spending a little bit more on postage, but I get why people don't want to. They'd rather buy more stamps and more postage. I get that. So I think it just depends. I think if you keep paying attention to the detail, if you focus on the details of your card, I don't think how much dimension is as important. Like if you put a lot of details into something, you don't have to have all that dimension. So it's completely up to you. I just use 110 for everything because I just love that heavy feel of cardstock.
Yep.
Somebody wants to see sweet corn ink. Here's sweet corn. It's such a great yellow. So it's like, it'll dry a little bit lighter, but it's kind of, how do you describe your sweet corn?
I describe it almost like a butter, like butter yellow. It's got, it's a creamy yellow, it's like corn on the cob. That soft baby yellow, but not a green yellow, a warm yellow.
And that will dry softer. This is wild dandelion. You can see that sweet corn is much more muted than wild dandelion.
Yes. Yeah.
Somebody asked, did somebody say, will you make a mini? Oh, would you ever do a mini Intri-Cut that's adjustable?
You know, right now, given the climate of things, I don't think we're going to branch off into any new machines. But we'll see, we'll see how things go over the next few years with, tariffs and all of that. There's always that possibility, but right now we're kind of sticking with what we have, because we know what we're dealing with. And we feel like the mini one is really meant kind of as a little on-the-go machine for small things.
Yep.
I don't have in my collection any 3D or 2D embossing folders that will even fit in the mini Intri-Cut. So, right now I feel like the pressure that you get from the mini cuts just about everything that's sized for the mini. Okay. I added a few little white pearls in there. I don't know, can you see those?
Yeah, and that just, I feel like it adds to the warmth of the card. So nice.
Yeah.
Somebody did ask for Gina's card, does A6 cost any more to mail? You do not have to put extra postage on an A6 or a 5x7 card than you would an A2 card. Unless it's thicker or heavier, then you need more postage. A good way to remember that is most of the cards you get like at the grocery store are 5x7 and they don't require extra postage. So you can make a 5x7 or an A6, which is a bit smaller, and it won't require extra postage.
Yeah, and also slimline cards, believe it or not, don't require extra postage if they're not too thick, because that's the same size as your bills that you get.
Yep.
Which isn't fun.
The trick is when you do a square card. The machines don't like square cards, so that costs more, or square envelope. So when I make a square card, I put it in a bigger envelope that's not square.
Yep. Yeah. And mini slimlines don't cost any more either because they're the same size as a check. So pretty much all the main sizes that we use will go for a single stamp.
Yep. So it'll cost more if it's heavy, if it's thick, or if it's square envelope. Those are the kickers. Somebody asked about my sentiment. So for my card, this is one of my oldie favorites. This is the Delightful Daisies. I love the sentiments in here. You mean everything to me. Thank you for being a friend. Hello, friend. Love you so much. It's just a great style, and then the images are beautiful. Well, I did So Very Grateful for You, and I just cut it into a sentiment strip and put it at the center of this one with the black background.
I love that.
Then for this one, Really, really like that Gina stacked the Hello Friend, So Sorry, and Love You So Much, because you can stamp it nicely on a circle die cut. And I thought that circle die cut looked nice there in the center. So this is the Delightful Daisies. Can you tell people again about your sentiments that you chose?
Sure. Well, for this card, I used a stamp and die combo here. This is they're sold separately, the stamps and the dies, called Graceful Greetings. And this is a really good little mini set. It's got a nice font that works for all kinds of cards, cards for guys, girls, whatever. It's very classic font. And then there is a coordinating die set that you can purchase. And then for this one, I actually used one of our brand new incentive stamp sets called Harvest of Love. And if you didn't know, I don't know if Jennifer mentioned this yet or not, but if you place an order on our website and you spend $75 or more, you get to choose a free gift. And this is one of the free choices. You can choose this one, you can choose another greeting set, or you can choose our white A2 size cardstock. And then there is a coordinating die set for this that cuts out all the greetings and that image as well. So I used Thanksgiving Blessings on this one.
Wonderful.
But this one is Graceful Greetings. Yeah.
Can I be honest with you? I wanted to use Graceful Greetings on mine, and I couldn't find it in my stash. And I threw a little temper tantrum this morning on the floor.
Oh, no.
So I've already placed an order for another one because I cannot bear to think not having that set. I love it. I love it.
Oh, yeah. It's a good one. It's a good one.
It happens.
It's versatile.
Somebody asked about sweet corn before. I just wanted to show you how beautiful it is when it dries. So that's sweet corn, that's wild dandelion, and this I showed before. I said is the perfect green. That's lucky clover.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah, that sweet corn really gets buttery when it dries. You'll notice that our inks, probably now as you're looking at these cards, you can see everything smoothed out. Everything just got a little softer, no blotchiness at all. And that's because we have a smoothing agent in our ink that really helps with that. I think that makes a big difference. Jennifer, that card is gorgeous.
And you can see because of that smoothing agent, the background, look how smooth that is. It looks great.
It really is. Wow.
For the technique I showed earlier for these backgrounds, I do recommend doing it twice. If you ink up the embossing folder and run it through and then do it again, you're going to get better background. So can you scroll, Mike? There was a question about the cost of dies. Where'd that go? I saw it.
Yeah.
Where is it? Oh, since no dies can be manufactured in the U.S. anymore, will tariffs cause die cutting to be de-emphasized?
Not for me. I mean, die cutting for me is joy. I love using dies. And so, I won't stop using dies, and we won't stop manufacturing dies, even if the cost has to go up down the line. I mean, right now we haven't raised the prices on our dies, only our kits, because our kits have, like this last kit had $145 worth of merchandise in it.
Yeah.
And we sell our kits at below wholesale costs. So we had to make a small adjustment for the tariffs because we can't be upside down or we go out of business. So we needed to at least get it within range. But right now we haven't raised the price on anything else. We have to really look at it. Yeah.
And keep in mind, some companies have had to raise prices already because of the tariffs that have been in place. Every company runs a little bit differently, orders a little bit differently, and nobody is raising their prices because they want to.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Jennifer, that is such a good point. I'm so glad you said that because there are some companies that maybe aren't raising their prices right now or haven't because they are companies that work 6, 8, 10 months in advance. So they ordered all their product and got it into the United States before those tariffs took hold. So they don't have to raise their prices. Right. Other companies like mine, we are a little bit closer to the edge of, we got to get these because you guys know a lot of times people say, when's your next release? And we say, it all depends on when the dies get here.
Yep.
A lot of times we're very, very close to the edge. And it's because we don't have as much, money to tie up that way in product. We just can't have a year's worth of product sitting in our warehouse. That doesn't work for our company.
Right.
So we have to we have to have a release, sell products, so we have money to
Yeah.
have the next release. So
Yep.
that's the way we do it. So it really just depends. Yeah.
Yeah. Every small business, these are small, tiny businesses, and they
Yeah.
all run differently. They order at different times. They have the capacity to order more or less. There's a lot that goes into it. But I can guarantee there is no company,
Nobody.
none of these small businesses are raising prices so they can get more money in their pocket. They're not like buying
No.
Lamborghinis here. That's just the way it is. And this is, maybe you are, Gina, and you just didn't show it to me when I visited. But and this isn't like, this is just a fact. This is how it is right now, and we're hoping that it gets better. I mean, it's going to get better at some point, and then, Gina will adjust her prices again. She's doing what she needs to do. You got to remember, Gina is a family business. She's got to
Yeah, we are.
pay the bills just like everyone else. She goes to her job doing this every day, just like others go do other things every day. So just know, and also I have to say, because I don't know that Gina would say this, maybe I shouldn't say it, but I feel like small businesses like Gina are having to work twice as hard right now. They're having to work twice as hard under more stress because they don't know what's going to happen next. And I think the more grace we can give these small businesses, the better. Is that okay to say?
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I think it's okay. I mean, one of the things too that and maybe I'm going to say something that I shouldn't say, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay. We're just friends here.
We do get a lot of people in our Facebook group that say, well, why don't you just make your products in the USA and then that would take care of it. There isn't a dye manufacturing plant here in the USA. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that even if there was, the dyes that we're purchasing right now with the tariff are still going to be less expensive for you than if we had them manufactured here in the USA.
Yeah.
And the reason is because the raw steel is still being tariffed coming in.
Yep.
And American labor and OSHA restrictions, there's a lot more expense here for companies to do manufacturing. I tried to have my die cutting cutting machine made here in the United States.
Yep.
I really wanted to because, I love this country. This is my country. I'm an American.
You're a small U.S. business, yeah.
I am, and I love this country, and I want to employ people. It's one of my greatest joys is to go out there and know that I have, people that I am helping, survive in this world.
Right.
But I tried to get my die cutting machine here, and what it would have cost to manufacture it here in the United States, the retail price of the die cutting machine would be over $500. Nobody would buy a die cutting machine for over $500. Yeah. And unless every company that makes die cutting machines did the same thing, you would just go and find something that was more budget friendly for you.
Yeah.
And you would be right to do that. And I would have a pile of $500-$600 die cutting machines that nobody would want. I was telling one person, they said to me, well, you should just get everything made in the US. And I was telling them, we make embossing folders and we make them in China, just the regular 2D embossing folders. Mm-hmm. And a mold for those embossing folders in China costs $600 just for the mold. That's not for the product. It's just for the mold, because they have to make a mold and then they inject plastic into that mold and that creates the design. So it's $600 for every design for the mold. I tried to get them done here, and guess how much the mold was?
Let me guess. Mm-hmm. 4,000. It's
32,000
in China.
$32,000 for the mold here in the United States. And their minimums were like 50,000 pieces or 100,000 pieces. I mean, we're too small for most manufacturing facilities here. And I think I remember watching the video that Denzel and Yana did about tariffs, trying to explain to everyone what was going on. And Spellbinders was saying they tried to get their cardstock manufactured here, and the mills they didn't want to talk to them. They were too small for it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot that goes into it. I encourage you to watch. Gina did a video. It's on her channel last week, where she explained why she had to very slightly raise the cost of her kit. And I also recommend listening to the video that is on Yana's channel, Yana Smokola. Hopefully Brianne's here and she can put it in the chat. that's where Denzel from Spellbinders came on, and he just gave very factual things like why, like Gina or Spellbinders or Gina and Spellbinders can't start a dye manufacturer in the U.S. and make them here. Like the answers all the questions, because I also want you all to know that, because I can say this because I don't have a stamp company, that these little businesses are they're exhausting all options. They're looking into every option. So I know people say, well, what if you do this? What if you do this? Trust me, they've thought about it and looked into it. I mean, I know somebody who she's a one-person show and she just makes dyes. She makes stitching dyes. And she was telling me she tried to get them sourced in the U.S. and like with non-dye manufacturers, just other places. And they're like, no, like this is small, not big enough to invest the time and people and energy in. So there's always something behind it. These companies are not trying to take the easy route. They're not trying to get rich. They're trying to keep us crafting. So,
yeah. And the other thing, I see this come up a lot. People will say, well, I found a bunch of dye manufacturers. I just Googled it and dye manufacturers came up. Well, the word dye doesn't mean cutting dye, and it doesn't mean acid etched dye. So the dyes like these are done with a process using acid, and the steel is etched with acid, and what's left behind is the shape. There's also something called steel ruled dyes. And those are like, do you guys remember way back in the day in the classrooms, the teachers used that? They're like in a big box and they have like felt on them, and you'd like put them through a thing and then the blade would shoot out. Very simple designs, just the outline of an apple, real thick. I think there are some companies that still make them for the quilting industry and some of that, and you guys probably have some of them for those of you that have been crafting forever. Steel ruled dyes can be made in the United States. They're very expensive to make them. I think we're looking into that for something here for a manufacturing purpose here. And they were like, $300 for one dye. They can make them here for that. But like, how am I going to make a steel ruled dye and charge you? I mean, if it costs me $300, what do I have to charge you? So we can't do that. And it's not the same. That's the thing. People are saying, well, there's a dye company, but they're making steel ruled, not acid etched.
Yeah. It's funny you talk about those kind of dyes. When I was an engineer at a big company and we were coming up with new product ideas, we'd want to be able to cut some materials. And so we would go to somebody who would make one of those thick dyes. And it would take weeks, and it would be one. And we had this big press that we would press with it, and it would cost $350. That was 20 years ago. So that's what they're doing. And that's not for the craft industry. So there's just trust people like Gina that they're doing the best they can and working their tail off and investigating every opportunity they have to try to cut back on price and bring us the best things we can. So just trust that. I've been hearing it from a lot of companies, not just Gina. I don't know how they deal with it. I don't get it. So
nothing would make me happier than if an acid etched dye manufacturer would open up next door here in New Berlin, Wisconsin, and I could have these kinds of dyes made here and they could be affordable for our customers. That would be fantastic. If anybody wants to do that,
I'll tell you, a lot of people believe that the reason we are in this pickle is because we stopped getting things made in the U.S. For years, they've been trying. For years, these companies have been trying. And to tell, to say stop manufacturing overseas and just do what we can in the U.S., you will get clear stamps. That's pretty much all you'd get. You
maybe
may get
clear
a few
stencils.
stencils.
Yep,
that'd
stencils.
be it.
We'd make our.
You would have some ink. You would have no blending. I mean, it just doesn't happen. And to tell to say to Gina, open a dye manufacturing. It's kind of like going to the grocery store. Somebody said this. I heard this. I can't take credit for this, but it's like going to a grocery store and telling them to start a farm to be able to get their produce in the U.S. It just isn't their thing, and that's just not possible. So there's a lot that goes into it, and I'm just trying to defend Gina.
Yeah. Oh, you're so sweet. Well, and I did see one of the comments. Why don't you make SVG files for die cut, like an electronic die cutting machine?
I'm
Well,
out.
I know Jennifer won't use them. I probably wouldn't use it either because I like to do techniques with my dies. So I actually need the die in my hand.
Yep.
But the other thing is we have license agreements with many of our artists and illustrators that do not allow us to make a digital representation of their artwork.
Yep.
So I can't, or a derivative of. So I can't. I legally have a contract that I will never make a digital representation of their art. And
Right.
they do that so that they can sell their art in the digital world, and I won't come in and knock them out because these artists also, they make money, but
Yep.
they need to make it from a lot of different sources. It's
Yep.
not all coming in from one place. So, yeah.
And listen, there are some people who can rock like a Cricut, like Ralph can rock a Cricut. There's a lot of people who can. A lot of us aren't tech savvy, and it's a struggle. So there are some things, and then there's a lot of stuff you do lose. I think having things like the Cricut and those SVG is great, right? It's great to have those, but it's also great to have wafer thin dies, and to have both, I think, is necessary for industry. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
And it really just depends. It depends how you like to craft. If you have a scan and cut machine and you just are trying to cut the outline of your stamps out, that's great.
Yeah.
You may not be able to get all of the inner details, like if you were cutting, this is one big die, right?
Yep.
Now, if you had a scan and cut, it would cut around the outside of this.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to cut in here, you need to be more tech savvy and you need to know how to program it to do that. And you can. I'm not that tech savvy. I'm just not. I'd rather have a die and just bam.
And another good point somebody had is all those machines are made overseas.
Every one of them has steel and parts like
So it's just listen, we're not here to it's not about complaining. It's just trying to understand. It's kind of like when COVID hit. We had to explain things with that too and how it was affecting everyone. Like we couldn't get cardstock for a long time. Like there was a lot to it. So it's just what's happening, and this will pass and everything will be good again. But right now that's a challenge. And somebody did ask how to support people like Gina. If you can buy product, right? If you can't, there are so many ways to support her. Show up in her lives and leave nice comments. Share her content on social media. When she's been putting up lots of cards that people make with their product on Instagram. Share those. When you share those or send them to a friend, that helps her. It gets Instagram to feed her content to more people. So anything you can do to just encourage and support, that's free. That's always good to do for small businesses too. And then send them an email. Send them a nice message or leave a nice comment. Oh, that really helps when you're getting some negative ones. So
it does.
Is there anything else they can do to help?
Well, all that being said, I think that we have the absolute most supportive community. You do on your YouTube channel. I do in my community, in my Facebook group, your Facebook group. The whole card making community has been the most supportive, stand by us people out there. You supported us through COVID because we're still here and a lot of businesses shut down. You supported us through all this turmoil, the tariff thing. We are so blessed with who you are, and just being there, just chatting with us, just coming and having fun and hanging out is really all the support that we really need. And we're so grateful for it.
And when we're live, we're usually a little stressed, right? When we look up and just see a nice comment, it calms us. So you would be amazed, like I said, encouragement. You'd be amazed how much encouragement helps. So keep doing what you're doing and just, it will be good then. We'll be good, right?
Yeah. Yep. And there's a lot of great companies that are going strong and doing great things and bringing great inspiration. I mean, think of the Concord and Ninth and Spellbinders and Hero Arts and Waffle Flower and Pink and Main and all these companies out there. And I don't want to forget anybody, but I love them all. So if I didn't say a certain company, they're in my list. They're on my good list. they're doing great things and they're going strong, and it's because of you. It's because of all of you, and
Yes.
it's great. And if you think about it, there are a lot worse habits out there than card making, right? We
Yeah.
could
Yep.
be getting in trouble in all kinds
Yep.
of ways, and if we treat ourselves every once in a while to a little something new, it's great.
You know,
I this is our happy place, right?
yes. And
Yeah.
somebody, it went out of my brain. Somebody did ask, because many people have asked this, how long have we been friends?
Oh my gosh. A long time. I mean, Lila was so tiny when we first met, and she's like one step away from high school, right?
She's
I
13.
don't,
So I would
yeah,
say 10 years.
10 years. Yeah, I would think 10 years.
And we
Yeah.
got together once and we sat at a bar with a glass of wine, and that was it.
Yeah.
We were
Well,
hook, line, and sinker.
Jennifer and I met in a really unique way because it was actually Rena that found Jennifer.
Yep.
Yeah. And Rena had followed Jennifer's account because Jennifer was posting pictures of Lila. And at the time, I think Rena was maybe, I don't know, like 16, maybe. I think she was still maybe 17. And no, I think she was like 16 because I remember her like running downstairs and going, Mom, you got to see the latest picture of the baby. We called Lila the baby because Lila was such a beautiful baby. It's like
Yeah.
there was never a more beautiful baby. And so Jennifer would post a picture of Lila. Somehow Rena ended up following her and then would bring the pictures down and say, look how cute this baby is. And I'd be like, oh my God, that is the cutest baby I've ever seen. And I didn't know who Jennifer was. I knew who Lila was. I didn't know who Jennifer was. And then one day I was cleaning out closets in my house. Rena, it was like probably Rena was 18 and she was getting ready to go off to college. Alicia was already gone. I was cleaning out all the closets and I was thinking, I've got all these cute little dance costumes from when my kids were young and they were in ballet and stuff. And I said to Rena, you don't want any of these for anything? And she goes, no. And I said, I wonder if that baby would want them. And she's like, oh yeah, the baby. Let's send the clothes to the baby.
Yep.
So I reached out to Jennifer on Instagram and I just sent her a private message and I said, hey, I went to her Instagram and I'm like, oh my God, this girl makes cards. That's cool. She's a card maker. And then I reached out to you. I followed you and I reached out to you on Instagram and I was like, hey, I know this is weird, but I'm a card maker too, but I'm not calling you or reaching out about cards. I'm reaching out to you to see if your baby would like some pretty princess costumes from my daughters. And you were like, yeah, that sounds great.
And
I think
they
I
were
sent
bigger.
you things. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So years later, Lila put on that, and I sent a picture, and I actually just sent it to you recently. I'll have to post it on Instagram. I'll post it in my stories. But it was Rena's dress so that's, and then we get along well because we both, we just,
we share anxieties.
that's one way to put it.
Yeah.
We're both a mess, in certain ways, but that's okay. But we like to make cards. This is our escape. This helps us with our anxieties and depressions, like for many of you. So I'm glad we're here. Well, I think that's it for today. There were a lot of questions we didn't get to answer. So I think maybe we should do this again sometime.
Oh, I would love to. And we need to do another full-blown tag team technique video too. So we have to plan that. And now that Betsy put it out there, maybe we can also talk about a future online card class. We'll see.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think Christina kind of spilled the beans in one of her lives about that. So.
Oh, she did. Okay. All right.
All right. Well,
we've
thank
got
you
a
all
few
for
things brewing.
Yes, we do. We always do. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to check out Gina's new release that came out on Tuesday. There is information in the YouTube description about what we used, and then also about how you can get a choice of free products if you spend $75 or more. So that's all in the YouTube description. Gina goes live Tuesday nights and Thursday afternoons, so always check that out. And I have no schedule because, I'm a mess. So, you'll see us again sometime.
Your lives are great though. So when you do go live, it's always a treat. I'm a larker sometimes.
I thank you all for joining us. I love you, Gina. Thank you,
I love
Tom,
you too.
for making this work. And have a good Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, you too. Love
Take
you.
care, everyone. Love you too. Bye, all.
Bye.